What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling fantastic today. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Cancer, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. So the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mars, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old Moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void, of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be fantastic, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Cancer. So, Cancer, happy Monday. Hope you're feeling wonderful. We had a relaxing weekend. But with the moon is in Aries, Cancer. And with the moon being in Aries, this is a very interesting placement for the moon. You might be feeling a little more aggressive than normal, Cancer. But that's a good, we can use that to our advantage because, Aries energy, where yes, it can be aggressive, but it can also be inspirational. It can be that motivation that we need. Aries energy, is that kind of like that kick in the pants that sometimes that is necessary in life, to get things moving. But this is something, if you've been wanting to just like get outside, great energy for being active, great for if we want to, great energy if we're thinking about what we want to set aside or want to get started for in the next lunar cycle coming up here in a couple of days. It's great energy for that too. Get yourself in that mindset, get pumped, get geeked up, start building up that confidence. And really too, take an energy just thinking about that as well. Aries energy, they're associated with the first house, which deals with self. And this is a great time too, Cancer, just to, do some things to, feel confident, feel at your best, and just feeling bold and start feeling your Queen of Wands energy. But also, Cancer, we're in a waning crescent phase. And with the waning crescent phase, this is a great time for doing some spiritual work, for like going within, doing some deep breathing, assessing your values, be really doing some, just thinking about what we want to get started up in this next lunar cycle. But, too, reflecting on how you felt with everything that's gone down up until now. But this is a great energy too, Cancer, of surrendering and just like relaxing, recuperating from, because when we start to implement, areas of self-improvement, that takes a lot out of us, Cancer, to work in a new routine. So take this time, rest, just so much rest, especially with Venus being in our sign as well. Make sure we're taking time to self-care, Cancer, while we're in this waning crescent phase too. And then last couple of things, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And then the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested there, Cancer. Oh, look at that, Cancer. So with our general energy of the day, we have the 7th card of Virgos here, which is the fine print card. And with this card, this is a card of detail, look closer, inspection, research, be careful, in-depth, pay attention, don't assume, thorough, deep dive, hidden information, double check, and read between the lines. All right, Cancer, and with this card, so, and honestly, just thinking with Aries energy too, how we were talking about being aggressive, maybe even, because impulse, being impulsive, that's a thing with Aries energy as well. If we have any kind of documents that we're looking over, any sort of like, any kind of fine print things, make sure that we are, just paperwork in general. Make sure that we're not rushing through this stuff, especially if it's important. And I know that kind of stuff can be tedious, Cancer, it can be monotonous. monotonous. But if it's something that's really important, maybe if we don't have the, really, or don't really care to, find the capacity to go through all of that stuff, because I get it, Cancer, maybe we can find someone to kind of help break down find out the more finer points of things. What are some key areas that maybe YouTube that, if we have some kind of documents, see if like, what are like the main points to pay attention to? Because sometimes when you get into those documents, I feel like that, where I'm sure all that stuff may have some sort of relevance. Sometimes I feel like they just like to inundate you in just words and jargon and things. So, but don't let that get you impatient, Cancer. If anything, depending on what this paperwork is, if we got to ask for an extension on some things, I mean, you want to be thorough. So that may be something we can maybe challenge them with. But just something to be mindful of, Cancer. But just also in general, just thinking with Aries energy as well, not that they're necessarily accident prone, but just, when you get moving, you get that heat gets going. Sometimes we can maybe move a little fast, just like in our physical world, Cancer. So just taking a moment to just kind of slow down, to appreciate the moment, really taking time, maybe do some, like we were doing some deep breathing, making sure that we're just being present as well. But Cancer, we can get a little spiritual with this card as well. This fine print, we can get a closer look at you. Read your fine print. Learn some things about yourself. Be thorough. Figure out, are there some areas that maybe we need to pay a little more attention to? Maybe we want to let that be the next thing that we go into this next lunar cycle. When you think about Virgo energy, theirs is a type. They're all about, when they got to focus, they're going to set up a routine. We have charts, we have maps, we have times. Virgo is very efficient like that. And Cancer, so, and that's something too, even just thinking with that, as I said that, try not to make these growth things, Cancer. Let's not get it to where we do get in the place of being overly critical. It's one thing to get in a routine, be thorough and whatnot, but we don't want to make this where the improvement is putting us in like an anxious place, or, getting us where it's the pressure becomes too much. So, we're looking for perfection. So just something to be mindful of with this energy as well. But let's see how we can work with this energy, Cancer. Let's read between the lines with some tarot. All right, Cancer. I dig it. Okay. All right, Cancer. So you have the Six of Wands here, you have the Nine of Coins, and then you have the Death card here. And, I will say for some, when we were talking about that, just as far as when we're working on ourselves, when we're doing those deep dives and, where they really just finding just like little hidden facets of ourselves and just learning more information, getting just to know ourselves better. The same with that Nine of Coins, this is something that can be a lot of work, Cancer. When we try to make these things a routine and really kind of try to pay attention to, just thinking even, for example, with let's say we were trying to adjust our diet, trying to look at all the different ingredients and stuff, doing the modifications, these little extra steps that we do for growth, for change, for metamorphosis, it can feel like a lot, and we gotta, we're being extra mindful and all of that. But here's the thing, Cancer, with the Six of Wands, it's just like when you're building a masterpiece, people normally don't see all of the details that go into that. They're usually kept seeing the finished product, and we're looking at it with awe and, and wonder and amazement. But you got to remember too, as brilliant as that was, it takes a lot of work. We got to be thorough. We got to pay attention, and it can be, you got to double check some things. Is this working for us? But I feel like just remember what the end game is. It's change, it's growth. We're leveling up here. And that work is worth it. You know, Nine of Coins this is how we work towards working towards our Empress, you know, our Empress energy, and start building our legacy. You know, after this is the Nine of, or excuse me, wouldn't that be something? We're just gonna stay at Nine of Coins. No, after this is the Ten of Coins, which is our legacy, our abundance, our foundation. So, you know, Cancer, don't let this thing, you know, feel like it's too much work, or that it's, you know, it's all to help you get down to your security down the line. But another thing, just thinking with this energy, because, you know, the Nine of Coins, the coins can start, can deal with finances. And if we're dealing with something that can change our, you know, change our lives up, whether this be, maybe we're dealing with some kind of tax stuff, maybe this is like, maybe some kind of marriage thing, inheritance, something along those lines. Just again, just make sure that we're paying attention, we're following we're doing our due diligence, and that we're seeing this thing through completion, you know, because it may not always be fun dealing with these things, but it's going to be worth it in the long run, you know, especially, you know, if we're whatever change that this is bringing, you know. So just something to think about, Cancer. And you know, Cancer, just even thinking with this too, just that inspection kind of popped out to me. This is, you know, great energy too, for just doing a check-in on how our growth has been going. You know, has this work that we've been put in, has it been worth it? Has it been raising our vibration, or is it putting us a step back? You know, and if it is, what can we do to adjust that, you know? All right, last one, Cancer. I love it. You got the Star card here. And with the Star card, you know, this to me, for some of us, you know, the Star card can be one, you know, this is Aquarius's card. And Aquarius is a sign of networking and, you know, just socializing. And I just feel that with this card, really, if there's something that, maybe if we're looking over some documents and things, and if we're not 100%, you know, if we're not feeling confident in maybe presenting this thing or whatever that's looking like, Cancer, the Star card can be a card of unexpected help. You know, I feel like reach out, see what resources are out there for you. You know, whether this is some online videos and things, maybe this is people, whatever this is looking like. But definitely be open to some options here, Cancer. But I am also getting with this, the Star card can also be a card of potential, Cancer, and just making sure that we're focusing on areas that that make sure that well, I don't want to say make sure, but check in to see if we're focusing on if we're hitting, I don't want to word this, Cancer. Check in to see if we're really living up to our potential. You know, if there's more that we can bring. And what does that look like? You know, how do we refine that more? You know, how do we take this sculpture here? Okay, we got that finished thing, you know, and we celebrate that. Sure, you know, make sure that we are celebrating these wins along the way, Cancer. But then how can we push that further? You know, what does that next thing look like? You know, because I love how all these animals are kind of like waiting and looking at this star here. It's like they're waiting in anticipation. What are you going to bring, Cancer? And I'm wondering, Cancer, what are you going to bring too? Because, you know, this is dope so far. This is strong energy here. So don't sleep on your potential. You know, if there's something that you feel that you know that there could be something there, you know, that can, opportunities happen when we refine these gifts and these abilities that we have, Cancer. So, you know, double check that stuff and do a deep dive. Figure, you know, look into that. But alrighty. Let's get some tea and let's see where some challenges working with this energy. I love it, Cancer. So we got Wheel of Fortune here. Wheel of Fortune. Ha! Queen of Wands. What are we talking about her? Oh, and Queen of Swords. All the ladies are here. And with this energy, Cancer, really just on some challenges. Just when we're just talking about paperwork in general. And, if there's... Try not to rush through this thing, Cancer. I know that we might want to just kind of move this thing along, but I just feel like that there's a potential that we can miss out on some things, or we can miss some details if we're not careful, and we can make, extend a cycle out a little bit longer, make something drag out. So we just want to be mindful of that. Even, if when we're dealing with some research, and I feel like even maybe when we're talking with some others as well, just, kind of pay attention to what people are saying, and if there's uncertainty, let's make sure we're getting some clarification. Don't leave there, or whatever this may be, leave there feeling uncertain, or with any kind of question marks. Make sure that we're leaving feeling confident and knowing that we have all the answers that we need. And if something comes up, bring that stuff up. Don't hold that to yourself, Cancer. But I also feel like with this, Cancer, when we start thinking about the Wheel of Fortune, how we're just talking about potential and things, and what looks next, or what's next. The Queen of Swords, I feel like that it's asking yourself those questions, and then when you get those answers, don't be, or try not to be, I don't want to be, because I'm not even getting an afraid, but don't doubt that you can't put in that work for that growth, or that how you're going to figure out, or that you're not going to be able to figure out how to make it work, Cancer. Because Queen of Wands, when she sets out on a goal, she's going to get it figured out. We may have to get a little creative along the way, make adjustments, but when she sets her mind to something, that's it. It's just, we're just going to plan A. The plan doesn't change. It's just the approach changes. So this energy here, when we're doing this dive and we're pursuing this growth, we're learning more about ourselves. Be adaptable, I feel like, with this energy as well. Just allow that, allow yourself to, there are going to be some things that you didn't know along the way, and we're going to have to, may have to pivot a little bit, but we just keep in mind, what is the end game? What is our goal? What does the abundance look like for you? And Cancer, just thinking too, just with Jupiter here, Jupiter's going to be moving into Taurus tomorrow, and depending on where your Cancer placement is at, in your chart, and even the degree that it's in, this could be, this is going to be a very easy month for us, Cancer, because Jupiter's going to be forming, depending on where you have Cancer placements, it's going to be forming a sextile with that sign, with that planet that placement's in. And sextiles are very easy energy. There's something where we got to put in a little bit of work, but when we put in the work, it's a very abundant energy. This can be, this next year that Jupiter's going to be in this sign can be a very abundant time for us, Cancer. So really be thinking about this type of stuff. If we're doing deep dives, and as far as how we want to grow, maybe doing some research in some opportunities, even that's something too, Cancer. If there's an idea that we're thinking about, and we're not sure how we can bring the potential out of that thing, then doing some research, doing the fine print, that's what Jupiter and Taurus's energy is all about. And then thinking about how we can make that last long term. This is a time, really, granted, this, we're going to be moving into Gemini season here soon, and things may feel like it's picking up, but Jupiter kind of wants us to slow down just a little bit when it comes to the abundance department, and just be thinking about what are some long-term potential things that we can get on top of the, because that's not to say there's not going to be some short-term abundance as well, Cancer, that there aren't going to be some victories along the way, but we want to think about that big picture as well, Cancer. So just something to think about there. But let's get some advice from Mars. Oh, I love it. Wow. Okay. I love it, Cancer. That was very efficient. So Here's the thing. I like that. We got the Ten of Cups here. We have our card, the Queen of Cups, and then we have the Queen of Cups. Or excuse me, we got Queen of Cups twice. Wouldn't that be something? So much abundance. No, we got the Queen of Coins here, Cancer. Let me switch back over here. Because with the Queen, with all these queens, look at all these queens. Cancer. Wow. So weren't we just talking about that Empress energy? The Empress is a culmination of all the queens, 4 of a kind, Cancer. Happy Monday. Wow. So, Cancer, paperwork aside, that's still important, but I think we've understood that. There's something here, Cancer. There may be something hidden. There may be some skills that you might want to think about. Maybe some areas, if there is your Queen of Wands area, are we not feeling confident enough? Are we feeling there's some emotional things that we can think about? Are there some areas that we want to, maybe health-wise, financially, that we want to get resourceful in? Is there anything we want to learn? There's a lot of potential here, Cancer, with all this queenly energy here for you to 10 of Cups all day. 10 of Cups is like your happy home, like your happily ever after. Like, what does that look like for you? What would bring you joy? And then work with that. Do a deep dive, Cancer. I feel like there's something here where there's like a skill that might need to be tapped into or something. There's a part of this, maybe this queenly puzzle that's, keeping you focus on this thing, Cancer. That's how we're becoming an Empress. That's how you're becoming abundant, and that's how you're getting Wheel of Fortune all day, every day. So yeah, Cancer, be thinking about that, and let's think about how we're gonna make the most of this next lunar cycle here for sure. But one last thing, just thinking with the self-care too. Queen of Cups can also be about self-care. Even thinking about Queen of Coins as well. She's a very nurturing energy as well. Finding some different resources to maybe take care of ourselves. Maybe if that's like maybe getting a massage, or maybe looking into maybe different meditative things, or maybe going for a walk, or going to different places, but whatever. But just make sure that we are making sure to fill up all of our cups, that we're taking care of ourselves, and that's how we keep that Wheel of Fortune moving. Because that's sick, Cancer, all these queens. I'm with it, so I think I'm gonna leave that there. I look 4 of a kind. Cancer, get out a thumbs up. Let's get this circulating. That's sick. And then share this if you know someone who maybe they're going through some research. And you know what, Cancer? Really, I feel like with all 4 of these queens here, if it's something either that you're resonating with or someone else that's resonating with, I feel like there may be a queen here that can maybe help you with this if there's some kind of paperwork or some kind of research that we need to do. But be thinking about that. But, if we're sleeping on any kind of potential, if you're like, hey, you're great with this, maybe we're collaborating, Cancer. Aries energy, they're the emperor, leaders. So maybe this is something you're leading a whole bunch of queens here, Cancer. Maybe you're trying to get you're writing up the fine print. So so many options are open. I'm about to get back into your reading, but have all these queens. When you're done talking amongst each other, have them all subscribe, hit that bell button, they'll get notified with all these videos each day. And then I'm on Insight Timer, and this might be something too if we've kind of been in our head, or maybe we need to do some introspective work. It's a meditation app. I've been on there for years, and I started a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a group to drop like encouraging messages, uplifting affirmations, things along those lines. Talk about your stories, when we go through tough times, and how you overcame adversity. And, as the group grows, definitely, I'm about to talk to all these queens now. We've been thinking about different meditation things to do. The Queen of Cups and I about got something locked in, but the rest of them, and Queen of Coins too. I got to talk with these other queens, but we're doing a lot, Cancer. But all that information is in the description box. And then lastly, check your sun, your moon, your rising. What better research for you to do, Cancer? Learn the fine print of yourself there. Get to get a good snapshot. And then come on over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do weekly videos there. I'm doing the celestial ones right now. I love doing those. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here so I can get you out of here. I love this. You got the Seven of Swords here, Cancer. And with the Seven of Swords, you know, I'm going to get your Oracle card. The Seven of Swords for me can be a card of, you know, it can be like a card of lying, cheating, stealing. But I feel like in order to do that, you need to be cunning. You need to have skills. You need to have some smarts to pull a fast one. And another thing that can be for me is like tactics, you know, learning new things. You know, we have to acquire new skills. And I like that this bird is flying out there is going to find this knowledge. You know, it's something that, you know, the growth is not going to just like happen to us. Ten of Cups doesn't just fall in our lap. We got to go out there and work on these things, refine these things. All these queens, you know, the Empress has to go through. Cancer, this is almost like the trial of the queen, trial of the Empress here. The Empress has to go through all these queenly energies to get a fuller understanding of her fullest potential. Star card here. And when she's completed this cycle, Cancer, and I love that. You got the elder in reverse here, which is the wisdom. But once and this is where we're at, Cancer, we're learning right now. But when we get that wisdom and get that elder, that's how you get into that Empress energy. This is, I love this. This is Jupiter, the elder. Which I'm assuming is elderberry is what I think is what it's talking about. But it's ruled by Jupiter and it's ruled by Pluto. And so and that's so funny when you think about where Jupiter and Pluto are at. They're both in earth signs. And so this is perfect. Thinking about that, you know, what ways we can grow abundantly and what potentials that we have. And, you know, how does that transformation look like? You know, what are those next steps? So be thinking about this, Cancer. The energy is sick. And one last little thing. I personally, I love elderberries. This is not medical advice, Cancer. That's why I got these cards, because I love all this herbal stuff. And we're definitely going to make it more of a point to talk about these as I learn them more. But elderberry, that's a great one for if you know how to make any kind of like syrups with it. It's great for like cough syrups or any kind of like great for the immune system. Just really good. If it's great for around like, you know, like cold seasons and things along those lines. So I always like to keep a little bit. I think I still got some elderberries. Like I got like a couple things of elderberries. You don't need a lot, Cancer. So just and it's a really delicious tea. So that's another one too. I personally enjoy it as tea. So just a little extra little nugget of wisdom there for you, Cancer. But all right, you go out there and go learn some skills, Queen. Go see where you want to strengthen your energy. So stay safe out there. Well, I mean, she's in a waning crescent, but meditate with the moon. You know, feel that energy, Cancer. Be thinking about where you want to go next. And I will catch you on the next one tomorrow.